Welcome to Shep Rambles, where I am Shep and I tend to ramble about what? Anything and everything, a whole variety of different types of stuff. And what's most important is I try to keep it narrowed down to articles that I think are fun and interesting, such as this one right here. We're getting into some aviation news, and I think it's perfect for Flight Simulator Friday here on Killer TV. There's all kinds of great articles that I'm finding in the aviation industry, and so I think it's a great consistent thing that we can do on Fridays. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Anyways, this is from the Points Guy, and the link to this article will be in the description, as always. And it says here's what it takes to pass the captain test for a major airline. This point contains reference to products from one or more advertisers. Well, we don't care about advertisers. It's not just about flying. Many people imagine the job of a pilot is pretty straightforward. Press a button and the aircraft takes off. Press another button and it lands. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Those of you who join me on the flight simulation flights, you know that it's not quite like that. In fact, when it comes time to me flying this stuff, it's it's certainly not a push of a button. Anyways, the rest of the time we just watch the screens as the autopilot does all the work. Feet up, drink coffee, chatting about the latest football results with their colleagues. Yeah, really? Do people really think that? I'm just curious if people really think that it's that easy. Anyway, however, as soon as the weather gets exciting or we deal with an in-flight emergency, all of a sudden we are heroes. How can the same coffee-drinking, autopilot-reliant sports fans suddenly become saviors? This almost makes it sound like we put your lives at risk. You don't realize it, but then when things get scary, we become the heroes. It almost seems like that's what it's saying. As a community, airline pilots are fairly reserved. We come to work, we do our job safely and professionally, and then we go home. Our mission is to take you safely from point A to point B without you knowing any of the difficulties we may encounter during that journey. If you'd like to get an idea of the difficulties, just watch my flight simulation videos. Not to say that I am a real pilot, and that's what you would see in the cockpit, but, well, yeah, you know, for those of you who've watched my flight sim videos, you know, we ain't gotta talk about that. And if you haven't seen them, go see them. It's good fun. If having our passengers think that flying is so straightforward that we just sit there drinking coffee, we'll take that. Whatever it takes to give you peace of mind. However, the reality is quite different. Whilst a pilot needs to have good aircraft handling skills, particularly when the weather turns nasty, it's only a small part of the job. With modern aircraft, a pilot is rapidly becoming an aircraft manager first and a stick and rudder pilot second. So, first officer development. For their entire career as a first officer, pilots are building the skills required to become a captain. As a result, an experienced first officer is, in effect, a captain in waiting. Airlines that are proactive in developing the skills of their first officers will encourage them to be the captain when they are flying the aircraft. In these situations, the captain will let the first officer be the primary decision maker. They will perform all the roles the captain would normally do, except for signing the legal paperwork. It will be their responsibility to decide the fuel required for the flight, to brief the flight attendants, to liaise with the ground staff to make the welcome on board announcement, and to ensure that the flight gets away safely on time. Naturally, at any point that the captain is not happy with how the flight is progressing, they will offer their input and guidance. With years of practice acting as the captain, when the time finally comes to doing the command course, the first officer has developed all the skills they need to be a successful captain. All that needs doing is refining those skills, and that's what the command course is for. It looks at the key skills required to be a good captain and helps candidates develop those further. Depending on the airline and the aircraft type flown previously, the command course will consist of around 5 to 10 simulator sessions and then 12 to 24 normal flights, all under the guidance of a team of training captains. I've done a lot of flights. Hey, I did 23 flights on the Cross Vatras 2020 event. Some went well. Others we won't talk about. Each simulator session is designed to help the prospective captain learn how the dynamic shifts from being an able first officer to becoming a competent captain. The operating sectors then enable them to put these into practice in a real-world environment. The authority gradient. When you think of the captain, you may think of the big chief, the big cheese, the person who everyone obeys, the one who everyone curtails to. However, a good captain must know how to strike a balance between being authoritative and allowing their team to influence their decisions. We'll just kind of skip all of that. Time, by the way, we don't have to read the whole thing. I mean, that's why I give you the link, so that way you can kind of go back and, read more into this if you like. Time and workload management. What goes up must come down, and with an aircraft, our up is always limited by our fuel endurance. Sooner or later, we have to land. However, this isn't always the most pressing issue. As an airline pilot, time and workload management are one of the key skills needed to conduct a safe flight. When flying an airliner and an engine suddenly catches fire, that's a crazy thing, in the middle of the night, it's only natural for the chimp to escape from the box. Red lights are flashing and warning alarms are going off. However, when flying an aircraft with 300 lives on board, we rarely get a second chance to rectify a poor decision made instinctively. What we must do is put the chimp back in the box to allow us to rethink rationally. And you might be thinking, what are they talking about, this chimp? Well, they're talking about this book called The Chimp Paradox by Dr. Steve Peters. If interested, we can just get the book and we can do a stream and read it together. As part of the command course, captains perfect their skills on remaining calm in these situations, enabling them to think clearly. Part of being able to think clearly is defining how much time we actually have. So there's some other things like in regards to engine fire in the cruise, engine shutdown, sudden loss of cabin pressure. It's kind of funny because I've had that problem on some of my flights, and the results have been interesting. Oh, TUI, TUI. I actually had a request from one of our viewers over on Twitch who redeemed killer points, because the more you watch when I stream, the more of these killer points that you earn, that you can redeem them for cool things. And he redeemed it and requested a flight with this actual airline there. I don't know if that could be an Airbus. I think that's an Airbus. But yeah, he requested it with this airline. So I see this and I instantly think of that. But anyways, it says, that said, every time you step out of your front door, you're taking a risk. Life is one big game of risk. However, the decisions which we make every moment of our waking day weigh up the pros and cons of those risks. The bottom line, the first phase of the command course enables the prospective captain to develop their command skills in the safe environment of the simulator. How the pilot manages the flight in both normal and non-normal situations is key to the success of the course. Flying the aircraft is the easy part, unless you're me. Being able to manage time and risk whilst maintaining a working environment where team members feel they can contribute is key. Ultimately, pilots get paid to make safety-critical decisions in a time and resource-limited environment. The decisions the captain takes could have severe repercussions on the safety of the aircraft and all its occupants. With that in mind, the candidate will only progress to the flying part of the command course once they have satisfied the instructors in the simulator stage. Check back next week to see how blah 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 blah. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to head back to the site, it sounds like they're going to have some more information here. But hey, this came in one of my news feeds, and I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing to take a look at. So I hope you found it interesting, and if so, go ahead and click that like button and leave some comments. I'm interested in your thoughts in regards to this. And if you're new here, subscribe and ring that notification bell so that way you get notified of more rambling content that gets uploaded to the channel. Like I said, I do a variety of different types of stuff. We do the best that we can to keep politics off the channel because there's enough of it out there. So I look for more types of fun type of articles that we can do on the channel. And this is a fun article. So if you want to get away from all the stuff going on out there and you want a safe place to come to, I hope you'll consider this that safe place. We would love to have you here and do my very best to be able to provide good quality entertainment and information for you. And then social media and streaming, all that information is shown right below. Twitter, I use for official news and announcements and retweets of things that I think you might find interesting. Instagram, I take pictures and projects that I'm working on and stuff. Snapchats for silly fun. Twitch, I do live streaming throughout the week. And like I said, if you're into flight simulation, I do have a lot of flight simulation on this channel, and I do stream it over on Twitch. New stuff, old stuff. And I'm not always perfect when it comes to flying and landing, but it can be quite entertaining. And it might make you feel better knowing that someone out there it needs a little bit of work. Some of my flights are good. Some of them are okay, but some of them are a good laugh too. But also, on another note, if you like what it is that I do, there's always donating and supporting your favorite streamers and favorite YouTubers, so that way we can continue to bring content like this to you. This is pretty much my thing. This is a thing that I'm trying to build up, so anything you're willing to contribute is greatly appreciated. I have a Patreon account set up for that. There's things that you get in return as well, so go check that out. And I got similar things set up over on Twitch as well. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you on the next rambling episode. Have a killer awesome day.